Good morning, everybody. Welcome. I hope everybody's having a good day. And today I wanted to talk about lying liars who lie lyingly. Let's talk about people who constantly lie to themselves and to others, and why the heck do we do that, right? Let's try to figure all that out today. Hi, everybody. My name is Johanna Dinsdale from Multi-Therapy. Yes, I am a therapist qualifying in Toronto, Canada. What we do on this channel, we share tips and tricks. I'm also a hypnotist. I love to provide free videos for you guys to do a little bit of self-reflection, have a little bit of relaxation, so it's always a good time. So feel free to share how you're doing today. These live streams in the morning are all about just catching up, checking in, and exploring a specific topic. So why am I covering lying liars who lie today? Great question. I think it's a really interesting concept to cover because white lies are very interesting, right? We typically tell them in uncomfortable tension. Hi, Matt. Welcome. How are you doing? Have you ever been a lying liar who lies? Let me know. So line wise, you might use a lot of filters on your videos or constantly exaggerate the distance of your run. It might even just be a little lie of saying that you like something when you really didn't, right? White lies are all these little things. Hi, David. Good morning. I'm feeling good. I didn't get much sleep last night, but I'm feeling excited to be talking about this topic. This is a good one, I think. It's really fun. Are you guys white liars? Do you typically do these little lies, You're tired of spending energy, maybe trying to remember which version of the story that you told. Have you ever been in that situation? You told a little white lie and then later on you're trying to remember what you told. So these small deceptions can sometimes add up, right? Every once in a while may be seen as socially acceptable. But then if we look about these movies, for example, oh my gosh, there's like a Ricky Gervais movie that I'm thinking of, and the name is escaping me. But basically, this movie is all about a guy who lives in a universe where everybody cannot tell a lie. And it is like a really funny movie. Basically, like he goes on a date and there's a girl who is just like, oh my gosh, you're a lot shorter than I thought you were. And it's like, I don't find you very appealing. But, you do have a chance of hooking up with me if you pay for the dinner or something like that, right? Like, just people cannot lie. So in this movie, he figures out how to lie. He's like the first person in his universe that learns how to lie, and he just becomes like, of course, hilarity ensues. He's like, starts his own religion by accident and stuff. He says he knows what happens in the afterlife, and everybody believes him, of course, because they don't know what a lie is. So yeah, that is kind of like to the extreme of what would happen if you just never lied at all, right? It is a very sociable, acceptable thing to tell these white lies, but it's always good to check in with yourself to see the balance. Yes, Matt Frank. Hi, how is it going? It does sound like Jim Carrey, Liar Liar. That one is a bit older. That must be the original one. I can't remember that movie very much, but I do remember the title. I was actually, this is so random, you guys, but when I was a teenager, I was like a guest host on YTV, which is this, it's kind of the equivalent of Teletoon. I don't know if it was in the United States or just Canada, but I was like a guest host on there, and one of the skits that we did was about Liar Liar, and I had never seen the movie. So that was like awkward for me because I didn't know what we were doing. I just kind of pretended like I knew what I was talking about. Vickus, hello, good morning. Admin Man, how's it going? What up? We're talking about lying liars. Have you guys ever been much of a liar? Let me know. What do you guys think? Do you think that it's okay to tell a little lie every now and then? again, I feel like it's very much of a philosophical thing. So, for example, we talked about filters here. It's like, is filters considering a lie or not so much? I guess it depends on the person. It's so normalized these days. So, let me know what you guys think. David. Oh, David. Yeah, it sounds like you need to talk to somebody about sort of your beliefs and thoughts around body weight. And yeah, that's stressful if you feel like your doctors are lying to you. I know. You wonder, huh? That's interesting that the doctors, you can always do the BMI charts too. I know that they're not very accurate, but it's a start. I guess it's a jumping off point and then looking at other factors, right? Like exercise and whatnot. But I'm not a nutritionist. You could always get a second opinion too. Talk to a different doctor if you think that one of them's lying to you. Yeah, Matt, you think that it's okay to lie, not to hurt someone's feelings. Yeah, I kind of agree with that sometimes, especially if somebody's cooking something for me. If it doesn't taste amazing, I'm okay with just saying that it tastes fine. I think that's a pretty acceptable white lie. I don't think anybody's going to be too mad at me for that one. Yeah, but let's talk about lying to ourselves, okay? So there can be a little bit of sabotage with small lies, like micro deception kind of thing. You know, it's about insecurity sometimes, right? You tell small lies about yourself to manage other people's perceptions about you, which is kind of like, you know, it seems that you feel your abilities, the truth about your life isn't good enough. If you're telling these little micro lies all the time, that might be a signal to you that you're not feeling good enough, right? If they're saying, what's another good example? Okay, David, the BMI says it's normal. That's a good sign. And like, as if you're eating healthy and exercising, that seems like it would be the case. No one. You said ask a therapist was trained to believe that collective agreement on preferred behaviors are correct and healthy. Ooh, that's a good point, hey? Yeah, I think if everybody collectively say that it's okay to lie about, you know, if somebody says, do I look good in this shirt? And you say yes, even though you don't think so. It's like, is that the worst lie? Not necessarily. Depending on how hideous the shirt is, I suppose. Thanks, Vicus. I appreciate that. That's very nice. Okay, yeah. So the real danger here is the cognitive dissonance, right? It's this uncomfortable tension that you feel that arises when your actions contradict your beliefs. So the lie versus the truth, right? Every time you tell that lie, your brain is forced to process two conflicting realities, right? It's almost like a memory game. You have to kind of keep that up along the way. And it does. Sometimes it can raise your anxiety levels if you keep lying to yourself about things, lying to other people. And sometimes it just becomes a habit, but it teaches yourself that you're unreliable. And other people, it's so embarrassing when you get caught in a lie too, I'm sure. If you lie about, I don't know, I'm trying to think of something. Again, I didn't have the greatest sleep last night, but let's say you're lying about how much you work out or something, right? It's like, oh yeah, I go to the gym every single day. And then somebody calls you and said, hey, you weren't there. I haven't seen you there. I actually have a friend who works there. They say that you're never there or something like that. It's like, oopsies, right? And then it just kind of makes things a bit worse, right? Vicus. In Bollywood, there's a movie called, I'll try to pronounce it. It's always fun. People love this. Kyanuki Main Jahut Na Bolta. That movie is inspired from the great Jim Carrey's Liar Liar. We were just talking about Liar Liar. Yeah, it's a good one. I need to watch it again. I think I've seen maybe a few clips, but that's about it. There's also, have you guys seen Yes Man? That was a really good one too, where he just says yes to everything and he gets into like crazy situations about that. Z, I would say turn yourself in there, buddy. That's no bueno. David, where's the 6 other bodyguards? We got a lot of them in the chat. We got Vicus, you. Who else do we have? There was somebody else, I think. Unless I'm dreaming. Matt. Yeah, that's a pretty good squad right here. No one says, what if I believe lying isn't morally wrong and I prefer to lie? That's a great question. Yeah, as a therapist, I would say, you know, again, there's like what do you call it? It's like a gray. It's not black and white. It is gray when it comes to lying. And if you're doing these small lies, if you look at the grand scheme of things, if they're not hurting anybody, then whatever, right? If that's something that you value is just to tell little lies, that's fine, right? Some people think that therapists are obligated to like hold up justice and this and that. It's like, no, I don't have to convince you to follow my moral book. I'm trying to make you live your authentic life, right? Whatever that is, as long as it's not hurting anybody, right? That's where we draw the line, basically. So again, if you're cool with lying, that's fine. But you might get caught up in it, right? You have to look at the consequences to that, which might be you might get caught in a lie and people aren't gonna believe you anymore, which is a fair enough consequence, I would say. You can lie to the entire world, but you can never lie to soul inside your body. That's a really good point. Yeah, you cannot, can you? You just got to be honest with yourself. Oh, David, the fact of the day, the movie Liar Liar came out on the 18th of March, 1997. Let me look up the plot. I hope no spoilers. I guess it's been out for like so much time, so I think we're okay. Liar Liar plot. Oh, conniving attorney Fletcher is an ace in the courtroom, but his dishonesty and devotion to work ruins his relationships. His wife has left him for a more dependable man. And Fletcher often breaks commitments he makes to his beloved son, Max. When Max wishes his dad would stop lying for 24 hours, Fletcher suddenly finds he can only speak the truth on the day his career-deciding court case has to be won. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna have to watch this one. Yeah, I see the picture. The only thing I remember of this is when he's trying to write, this pen is red, and because it's blue, but he can't do it. He's just like writing blue everywhere, including his own face. What if I don't accept it's moral wrong to hurt someone? Well, that would be a different case, no one. Like that's, as a therapist, that's in our ethical duty to say you should not hurt people, right? Especially if it's like considered abuse, that kind of thing, you know? Wow, no one's asking the philosophical questions, huh? Vicus was 4 years old, 7. Are you born in 1993, Vicus? What if you don't mind the consequences that come from lying? Is that an acceptable way to live? Yeah, again, like if that's your decision, like fortunately it's a free world out there. You can absolutely choose that, but there would be consequences to lying, right? Like people aren't going to trust you and stuff. So as long as you're okay with that, then yeah, it's a free world. Do what you like. Not old, not young. Oh, Vicus, nice. We're the same year then, 1993. Woo. Okay, let me see here. So we talked about lying. We talk about lying to ourselves and kind of the consequences of doing that. Having to keep up the facade can be quite tiring. Since the goal, let's say our goal is to repair the relationship with yourself, right? And first of all, if you catch yourself telling a small lie or exaggerating a detail, you don't try to judge it, right? You say, what truth about myself am I trying to hide right now? Okay. For example, let's use the running one. I'm hiding the truth that I felt tired and I skipped my run today. I said I ran 5 miles and I didn't run at all, right? By naming that insecurity, you're immediately neutralizing the lie's power, okay? It's okay. It takes some practice to change your pattern, so you don't want to be too hard on yourself if you get caught up in it again. You just got to say, oops, I made a mistake. Why am I doing this, right? Like, specifically why? And then you can also do something called an honesty inventory, which you basically notice that there's a value conflict. So for example, if you keep lying about your finances to everyone, say like you end up spending all your money on purses and then you have nothing left and you don't want to tell anybody, right? This lie is acting out of fear and commitment to one small act of honesty in that area is basically going to provide you with some support too, right? Admitting to yourself, I might need some help, I might need some guidance, instead of pretending and trying to cover it up, right? And that takes bravery, right? It really does take some bravery to ask for help, to get the support that you need, especially in these, seemingly embarrassing situations. Let me check the chat here. Oh, is it your birthday soon then, Vicus? Happy almost birthday. That's exciting. Are you doing anything fun? Camilla, welcome. How are you doing, user? Can you do the butterfly induction right now live? No, I don't think so. Maybe next time. See how pointless therapy is when reality is completely subjective. Well, that's a good point, Noah. I wouldn't say it's completely pointless. I would say that it can be helpful if you need to talk things out. It's all about creating a safe space to talk about whatever you want, right? And then also providing tools to do whatever your goal is. So it might be coping mechanisms. It might be, thinking a different way, challenging thoughts. It might be just like a venting session. You're just looking for some validation or getting a third party's opinion, somebody who's not involved in the situation, right? So there's a lot of different things that therapy can do. Yay, that's a nice coincidence. Yeah. Birthdays. Does that make you a Sagittarius? I don't know. Is the volume very quiet? Oh no, sorry guys. Hold on. Let's see if I can fix this. Oh. Let me... Sagittarius. I don't know. Oh yeah, I don't think I can get it any louder than that. Apologies, guys. I've been having a little issues with my mic sometimes, but I can try speaking up. No, David is just joking around. Aw, thanks, Matt. Honestly, I just bought my first wrinkle cream. I'm not wrinkly per se, but I think I'm just trying to take care of my skin. My older sister bought some really nice products and like her skin looks great. So I just basically bought the same products and I'm like, if it's working for her, I'm sure if I start a bit early, hopefully it'll work for me too. Oh, maybe that's why. Maybe the microphone's too close. Hold on. There we go. And yeah, if this is something you want to work on, you can try the small truth challenge, where you're actively seeking out one opportunity to make a small, unnecessary truth. So if someone asks how you are, which people do quite often, actually tell them the truth instead of saying, I'm great or I'm good. Just tell them exactly how you feel, no matter what that is. People do that to me all the time too. Just like, hey, how are you doing? And then they tell you exactly how you feel. And I think that's kind of nice when people are honest instead of just giving you that surface level. But again, I'm a therapist, so I love deep conversations. So of course I'm going to enjoy when people open up and want to talk some deep talks. Hey, Jay Hammond, how's it going? Hi, Jordan. Yeah, hypnosis is the best, huh? I don't know if I'll do it today, but I want to make like a super, a compilation of sorts where it's just like a massive hypnosis tape, but I have to take the time to kind of balance out all the audio and everything. So it's going to take me a while. Maybe I'll do it. I don't know. Maybe tonight I'll do some editing, but that's been on my list of things to do. I had a lot of fun doing that live and just chatting with people. We did like a 5-hour live stream, which was really great. I was kind of getting my hair done at the same time, so I was running the live while like messaging people. It was great to talk to everybody and how they felt while they were getting hypnotized by the live. Yeah, it was a good time. Good time for everybody. Oh, Jordan, you teach hypnosis? Very nice. Whereabouts are you from? I love to hear the different places people teach hypnosis because I find that the techniques that they use are different depending on where you are from. David, did I drink any Coca-Cola yesterday? I did not. I got my new coffee machine, so I've just been chugging coffee all day long. Like, too much coffee, guys. Way too much. User, your experience with liars is their absolute inability to accept another person being untrustworthy. With liars, is their absolute... Let me read that one more time. I'm still waking up, guys. With liars is their absolute inability to accept another person being untrustworthy. Why do you think that is? I'm not sure what you mean. Am I just not understanding? Probably. So liars don't accept other people being untrustworthy? Is that what you mean? Do you mind maybe rephrasing? Noah, what was your last comment? What is considered healthy is what people in authority collectively agree it is. No, like, it's true. Like, we definitely do have like a societal culture, right? That is reinforced socially and by laws. Absolutely. But again, like in therapy, I'm not trying to direct person one way or another. That's why I can work with all like political parties, people who have a lot of different opinions than me, right? I'm not trying to conform people to that. The only rules that we really have around that are if there is direct harm to other people, then we would have to enforce like not doing that, basically. That's just part of the ethical agreement I have as a licensed qualifying psychotherapist. Jordan, he says, clasp your hands together, then raise your 2 index fingers apart about 6 inches apart. Very nice. Yeah, that's a good one. You do like the energy or like static moving between the fingers. That's a good hypnosis technique. Oh, user. So you're saying liars experience rage when they are being lied to. Yeah, that's a good point, right? There could be a lot of different. It's almost like sometimes lying is a symptom to something bigger, right? There can be, like narcissistic tendencies or borderline personality disorder. Like there's a lot of different things that could be part of compulsive lying. And there's a difference between compulsive lying and choosing to lie too. Yeah, Jordan, that's okay. I don't really feel like getting hypnotized, but I appreciate the offer. Vicus, you love the way I say to do? To do. Yeah, that's just part of my accent. I never noticed that. Thanks for pointing that out. That's fun. What about today? Maybe I will buy a Coca-Cola, but I like Coke Zero the best, to be honest with you, David. Direct. Oh, you're getting real philosophical. No one. David, host needs to drink some Coca-Cola. All right. Yes, fine, I will. And Leslie, okay, that was the other thing. So I wanted some examples of liars. And we talked about Jim Carrey's liar guy. We talked about Ricky Gervais one where he's the only one who can lie in a universe that no one else can. But there's also Frank Abagnale Jr., which Leonardo DiCaprio played in Catch Me If You Can. And this was like a true story, right? It's about this guy who was so good at lying that he like tricked so many people from like a very young age. He just started off with like small lies about his age and profession, but then it grew into him impersonating a pilot and like getting free flights everywhere, impersonating a doctor and a lawyer. Like this guy was like the king of liars, and it's a true story. Like he did do that, and he was also doing a lot of check fraud and everything. Just a wild guy all around. Really interesting stuff. Hi, IX. Welcome. You tell lies every day. You tell your boss you love your job. See, that one I would consider a pretty safe lie, right? Yeah, you don't want to get fired by saying, I actually hate you and I hate this job and I'm peacing out forever. Yep. Yeah, check the fraud guy. Yeah, the check fraud guy. That's right. Jay Hammond, does my practice take clients from outside Ontario? Yeah, I work with all of Canada, excluding Quebec, and then some, like if you're interested in working with me, I'd have to check where you're living and the rules and regulations there because I have to follow both countries' laws. Oh, David, yeah, don't worry about it. It's just not going to happen, so it's fine. The other example that I had was Leslie Knope from Parks and Rec. I don't know. This one's a bit more obscure. I love this show. That's where like Chris Pratt, I think, got famous-ish. Like that was his start, and he was amazing in this. Oh my gosh, he was so funny. Leslie Knope is this very good-hearted person who wants to help everyone, and she is, what is she? Yeah, she works for the Parks and Rec department in her local town, and she's like super type A personality, really wants to run around and, have everything perfectly aligned, but she often uses like micro deceptions to manage conflict. So for example, if somebody gives her bad news, she'll try to hide it and try to fix it in the background, which often leads to even more issues, right? Because, either she needs help or like, this bad news really needs to be addressed right away, but she wants to do it. So that's just another example of how these little micro lies can catch up with you. Or I love this too. It's like positive, what was it called? Toxic positivity. She is definitely a very good candidate for that. So she will always try to stay positive, even if it's a really dismal situation, which is great, but it's called toxic positivity because you're trying to suppress all these emotions and like everybody else is sad. So why it's called toxic positivity is because it's really just unhelpful, right? Like say you are stuck in a pit, right? And somebody's running around saying, don't worry guys, we'll get out of this. Like we're gonna be fine, even though you're in the middle of nowhere, right? It's just like, okay, this isn't actually helpful and we're not addressing our real feelings. Oop, let me check the chat. Oh no, Jay Hammond, you're in Quebec. I'm sorry, they have a different licensing there. So I hope one day to get it, but until then I cannot work with people in Quebec. Everyone is a liar, and the host might be a biggest liar. I'll never tell. Maybe. Dylan, what's the most interesting aspect of my career? That's a great question. I would say the most interesting part about my career is, I guess, getting to hear people's stories. I love to hear everybody's stories, and I feel very honored that people, trust me with their deepest, darkest secrets. It's really, I just feel very grateful that people are willing to trust me, and I take it very seriously, and I will protect them with my heart and soul. And I guess the most interesting thing is I feel like I have a really deep understanding of people because we're in a space where people are super, super honest about their feelings. So I get like a special window into people, like there's a few people that are very honest with you, but I have like hundreds of people who are extremely honest with me. User, you're neurodivergent and you're starting to learn that you need to lie as to not be offensive and also keep yourself safe. Unfortunately, I have trouble understanding why people maliciously lie. User, that's a great, thank you for sharing. And that's a great point, right? You do have to learn how and when to lie, for sure. There's something to it about somebody who's super honest because that makes you very trustworthy. People know that you're going to speak your mind. And I know some people who really don't lie about anything. That's just their personality, and they might try to be gentle about it, or they might not. Again, I guess, do you have an example of a time that you told the truth and so it really didn't go well? That would be interesting. Vicus, I missed what you said. I can't find your comment. Oh, if I'm a liar? I am a qualifying psychotherapist, Dylan. Matt, your phone decided it was, finding an update. You didn't miss much, Matt. We were just chit-chatting. Vicus, oh yeah, you answered, thank you. IX, you're in the USA, so sadly, you just have to stay being a crazy... IX, there's other people out there, I guarantee you. I'm sure there's even better therapists than I out there. You just gotta find the right match, that's the thing. You gotta ask around, and sometimes it takes some time. And I know it's difficult, right? Like having to be open and honest and maybe even starting over again and again until you find the right match. But guarantee you it's worth it, because then you have somebody for years and years that you can always jump back to for support if you really trust their opinion. Oh, David, I have tons of classified stuff you wouldn't believe. Translucent. What's the reason behind ending up in a bad position even after being aware and yet not having the willpower? That's a great question. Ending up in a bad position. Yeah, it depends what you're talking about, translucent. There could be a lot of reasons. It might be something that you're comfortable with, something that you know that is less scary being in that bad situation than it is trying to start over in a new situation. You know? Okay. The Vicus. Okay. I appreciate that. I try my best, and that's all we can do, right? We try our best to make this world a nice place that everybody feels heard and understood. That's a lot of therapists' job, is to make people feel understood and to help them understand themselves too. I love there's like a picture where it's like a ball of string, and then the therapist is just helping like roll it back up into a ball so people understand it more, right? It's less chaotic, it's more organized. It's the same thing, but just more organized. Okay. Oh, another good example, if you've seen Harry Potter, is Lockhart. You guys remember that professor? I think it's like Gilderoy Lockhart. He he was constantly like lying about how cool he was to the students. He was like, oh, I'm so brave. Like, oh, I have all these famous friends. And I love the way that she wrote it. It was like, he was collecting the most talented students and like really favoring them and stuff. So he had these like contacts in the future. So, like he had this special group of like the smartest, most talented people, and he would like really hype them up. And then he kind of collected them like Beatles almost, like these famous people. He would steal the stories of others and write them into a book. And remember that? Okay, yeah, it's all coming back to me. It got even crazier. He was like erasing memories of people and stealing their stories. See, this kind of behavior shows me that he doesn't think that he's actually good enough, right? He's got to be stealing all these other people's feats and strengths and everything and really hyping himself up, because I would say his core issue is that he truly doesn't think he's good enough. Yeah, so that guy needs some therapy. Aaron, what type of therapy do I practice? That's a great question. I typically use, it's such a mix of things, guys. I always just go with whatever people need. I do narrative, cognitive behavioral therapy, typically for homework. We do like worksheets, just to like collect the thoughts between sessions, and we bring them in, and then we'll really deconstruct it from there. Obviously, I do hypnotherapy, yeah, and strengths, positive psychology, all that fun stuff. Yeah, you don't want to limit yourself to one. I know some people like that, but I don't know. I find it all interesting, and depending on the situation, you got to have a lot of tools in the toolbox. Am I right? IX. Yeah, sure. Technically, you've talked to me randomly for like 4 years. Time builds trust and stuff. Yeah, I get that, IX, for sure. You really do have to build rapport and trust and everything. And it's great. That's why I love this community too. I keep seeing people popping up from 6 years ago, and that's amazing. I love that you guys have stuck around so long to just listen to my antics. I always appreciate that. Yeah, I mainly deal with anxieties and relationship issues. Those are my top two specialties. No one, for a therapist that truly cares about people feeling heard, I feel ignored, but that's okay because your preference is just to ignore me. Oh, I'm sorry, no one. I don't mean to ignore you. I just felt like I answered your question. But if you have another question, feel free to answer it. I really hope you don't feel ignored. I'm not trying to ignore you. Translucent, Vicus. Oh, you're talking to Vicus? Oh my gosh, are you speaking Hindi? What's happening? Rojas, you have a question. Your wife's best friend makes you feel uncomfortable with the comments she makes toward you, but your wife doesn't care. Why? Oh, Rojas, I'm sorry to hear that. That's a really uncomfortable situation. That is really hard to hear, that you kind of told your wife that this made you feel uncomfortable and she wasn't really receptive of that. But it is important to set your boundaries, right? Maybe she doesn't understand how much this means to you, and if she doesn't care, then it's kind of unfortunate. You can say that upsets me that you don't take into consideration my feelings, but I'm going to be setting some boundaries here, right? If that's what's important to you, you can always really shut that down right away. It's all about, we call this assertive communication. Often when this kind of stuff happens, we take a more passive communication style. We just let it slide. But if it's really getting on your nerves, it's all right to just put an end to it, right? And using I statements saying, hey, I feel really uncomfortable when you do that, and I don't think it's funny. Please stop, right? Keeping it short, to the point, using I statements because people can't argue with your feelings. I'm really sorry to hear that, and I hope things go well for you there. IX. You usually don't respond to therapy very well. You're very self-aware but suffer from ADHD and anxiety or something. So when you're overwhelmed, you kind of just watch yourself fail. Oh, I'm really sorry to hear that, IX. Yeah, it's not easy, and it sounds like you could really use somebody to talk to. So I hope you are able to find somebody to connect with. I get that you don't want to start over with somebody, but yeah, if you're feeling like there's some work to be done there, it might be worth the risk to take a chance. It's up to you. Oh my gosh, I gotta learn Hindi already. I started to learn a little bit of Urdu, but I stopped. I need to get back to it. I could try to speak some. No, I can't. I'm just so bad at it. Oops. You have a question. Wife's best friend makes you feel uncomfortable with the comments. She says things like, I am her other baby daddy in my other comments. Oh, I already answered you. Sorry, I guess you posted again before I answered. David, you only know me 5 years. Okay, 5 years is a pretty long time, David. I think I only started my channel 6 years ago, so don't feel too bad. You're one of the OG people. I consider you one of the OGs, okay? That's Hindi. Oh, he's surprised you're a moderator. Okay, that's pretty funny. Yeah. One day I'm gonna get fluent, guys. That's my goal. I gotta really buckle down and do it, because I love the language. It's so beautiful. And Hindi and Urdu are like very similar, so I think I'd be able to understand both. Fingers crossed, maybe. Uh, yeah. Rojas. I guess I'd be curious, maybe, again, like, I don't know the situation, so I can't give like 100% advice. I'm just saying this is what I would do, but I would highly recommend you talk to a professional, right? But something that I would do maybe is ask her why she does this. It's really fun to call people out like that, or like, I don't get the joke. Why do you keep saying this? Get them to explain it. That always puts somebody in an awkward situation. I don't get it. Why do you keep making this joke? What does it mean? Matt, you're still here. Just chilling, Maddie. That's okay. Yeah, I don't know where the other bodyguards is. That's okay. All right, guys. So I think I've covered everything I wanted to. Anybody got any final thoughts, opinions? Feel free to leave them in the comments. If not, I'll probably wrap it up here. Yeah. The methods that I talked about when it comes to confronting your lying to yourself is ACT therapy and CBT therapy kind of mixed together. Reframing why you do things, checking in with yourself, seeing if they align with your values is important. And yeah, starting to be honest with yourself takes work, takes some time. So be gentle with yourself and challenge yourself with these small truth challenges if this is something that you've been struggling with. Oh, IX, your final thought. You think everyone should have a wonderful day or else they'll get mad. So you heard it from IX, guys. Everybody better have a good day or else. Oh, you want me to say something in Hindi and Urdu for me? Because both the languages belong to India. Oh my gosh. Oh, now you put me on the spot. Okay, I'm gonna try something. I don't know if I'm gonna say it right. Aapke milkar hushi hui. I think it's like how are you? Is that right? I also call my kid Chuza. Chuza. He's a little chicken chick. User says many thanks. I'll definitely be back. I just started a combination of ACT, CBT, and DBT. Excellent. That's a really great one. Yeah, those are all great, and I hope they work well for you. Divine substance. It feels wrong to lie. You cannot lie. Have always been lied to. And that's okay, right? That means that you're following your values, which is great. IX, thanks for sharing the time to respond. It's always a pleasure. Take care. Take care, everybody. Bye. See you next time.